start from the start here. Final Fantasy VII was the first Final Fantasy that had a worldwide release at the time of release. All Final Fantasies prior to that were Japan and then North America. Like, that's pretty much it. That's how it went. The only way that anybody would have had any of those copies outside of those countries would have been, like, some magic away, you know, of having some friends that got you the things and you knew to get the things and you had the internet to know to get the things, which really we didn't in prior to 97. Like emulators and all of those different things. Like, the world just didn't have access to Final Fantasy really until 7. As far as I'm aware, which meant that Final Fantasy VII hit hard. Final Fantasy VII hit hard because everybody had access. It was promoted everywhere. It was able to get into the brains of multiple generations. People who had been able to play previous Final Fantasies and people who were only just able to play Final Fantasies. Me, for example. And because of that, it resonated for decades. And yeah, like you say, Paul, like, it was a 3D one with an open world map to run all over in 3D. Yes, they were big ass polygons, but it was a huge game. And I think because of that history, it stayed alive, and, you know, big fan fiction and offshoots were immediately made back then. Like, they were already wringing the life out of this chocobo, as you say, Jupe. Like, they've been doing it since the 90s. Because they had Dirge, they had original Crisis Core, they would have had games on, what, like the DS and things like that. They integrated the characters into Kingdom Hearts and all sorts of other things. Like, we have been raised, if we were into Final Fantasy, like getting into Final Fantasy VII, we've been raised with Final Fantasy VII. So it's always there, and that's always been a thing that they could make money off because it's the first worldwide. I think that's what it is. It's the first time that they were like, yes, everyone can see this, they like it, the world likes it, great, now we're going to make sure that the world can get all of the other Final Fantasies from now on because it's great money making. And they did that, and yeah, never looked back. And we all, because there were more people that had their eyes on 7 than 6, for example, at that time, for years, I thought Final Fantasy VII was the first Final Fantasy where they did such a shocking thing as Aerith. I thought it was the first time. No, it's not. Final Fantasies are always killing off characters. But to me, that cinematic was huge, and I hadn't seen it before. And I think that will be the case for a huge amount of people, and that's why 7 resonates and created a huge fan base compared to other entries.